Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Wrestling Challenge review series for the year of 1986 and the edition of the um, November 15th, 1986 edition. We are fast approaching what's available on the network coming to a close. However, fear not, we're going to try and add a few episodes here and there from non-network sources because, well, WWE Network doesn't really care about the fans. They care about stretching things out for as long as they can be profitable with content that they're not really sure that people want. Anyway, in any event, this is a useful episode because it has a couple of decent enough matches on it. Plus, it also possesses the final in ring, at least on a national stage. I don't know if Captain Lou Albano ever did independent shows where he might have gotten in the ring and thrown a punch or two. I do not know that answer, but it does possess the final run of the Captain Lou Albano as an in-ring competitor for the WWF as he teams with the British Bulldogs against the Dream Team and Johnny Valiant. So, historic from that perspective. Macho Man Randy Savage and Koko were also on the show. Matter of fact, that's what opens the program. And Macho Man Randy Savage, of course, your Intercontinental Champion. Probably your second most over person in the company. Hulk Hogan, of course, being first, at least through the end of his run in 1990, I would say, when he gets beaten by the Warrior WrestleMania 6. I would say Hogan the most over babyface during that time, maybe even longer than that. But Savage and Koko is a good deal here. Certainly, Koko is a guy who one could easily assume could have had a bigger run with Savage if they had wanted to go that way. They obviously didn't, and it didn't work out for anybody there. Also, the number of non-enhancement matches in this particular endeavor almost makes me think that there might be some November sweeps type stuff going on because there's also a Harley Race competitive match here as well, which, again, competitive matches on syndicated programming not as plentiful as certainly we're used to today, but also not as plentiful as people might like them to be. Savage and Koko starts as a pretty even keeled situation, and it it is not to the degree of nature of that which the average person would think. Koko manages to get to the top rope in the first few minutes of the contest and hit a dropkick on Savage. This is after Koko manages to, kind of get some arm drags and other basic moves on Randy Savage. Koko Beware only a couple months into the company and obviously gets jump starts the match. Does Savage? Savage goes right after him. Doesn't even take the robe that he's wearing, which his robes for television are almost always different. I don't know that I see him wear. Certainly, you never see him wear the same one two times in a row. You may not even see him wear the same one for a month or something like that. But anyway, Savage does an inset promo talking about being the champion and also sends Koko to the outside. Sends him back into the ring, and Savage likes the being dominant and goes for the double axe handle. Koko out from underneath, hits a drop kick under the chin, and ultimately manages to, as mentioned, hit the top rope drop kick. Does Koko. Koko looks like $1,000,000, brings Savage back to his feet. Probably they might have run across each other in Memphis. I'm thinking Koko manages to dive over the top rope and misses a crossbody. Savage to the outside, the axe handle to the floor, gives him what he wants for a minute. However, Koko comes back, sends Savage into the barricade, silver barricade, and into the hard shots there. Kind of see, Savage having some challenges. Liz consoling Randy on the outside of the ring, and Koko kind of trying to keep things going. Savage running away at every opportunity, kind of manages to go back to the locker room, kind of implying that he'd rather take the countout loss then take risks unnecessarily. Uh, and ultimately that's that. Wrestling rebuttal by Ricky Steamboat. Steamboat wants his hands on Savage. Steamboat certainly wants to be the Intercontinental Champion, and that's the main focus of the wrestler's rebuttal. Then we see Bobby Heenan's man, King Harley Race. Heenan and Race teamed up, I think, more because they have an AWA history and because the instant credibility of being around Bobby Heenan after Heenan had been hot for the last couple of years might have ingratiated the fans to Harley Race a little quicker, especially those who know him for the AWA and consider him slower. The robe and crown of Harley Race, certainly not anything negative, but Garpo Kirshner gets jumped from behind. Kind of a waste of a match when you talk about Harley Race versus Kirshner. Kirshner never really gets fully over, kind of a Sergeant Slaughter ripoff, and then we see some Irish whips. Um, Race with a knee to the midsection. Kirshner manages to come back a little bit. Race manages to stay down on him, gets him down for a near fall, doesn't get what he wants on the near fall, and Race continues to go as aggressively as he can towards eliminating his issues with Kirshner as quick as possible. Kirshner, again, not much of a wrestler, kind of brawling his way through. Big body slam by by Kirshner, drops the knee. Kirshner goes to the top rope, misses the top rope elbow, which is surprising to me. What with Randy Savage on the same program that he wasn't even allowed to do the move. Race waiting on the top rope, hits a diving clothesline for his trouble. The King manages almost the gourd buster / perfect flex combination and gets a victory there. Hulk Hogan up next with a wearing what he calls the war bonnet, which is basically a helmet on his head to cover his balding head. And he talks about wanting revenge on Orndorff and Heenan and all of that. Tito Santana and his partner again, Pedro Morales, kind of a weird deal. The Federettes, which is just ring girls like UFC has, are brought forward. John Jackson and another enhancement talent brought about as the foes for good old Tito Santana and Pedro Morales. Again, Morales and the other man, of course, Steve Regal. Morales and everything kind of getting long in the tooth here. Tito doing the majority of the work in the match, as one would expect for the difference in age, and we're halfway through the program, and it's kind of clear that, again, Challenge still protected and is through about 1991, 92-ish. They do have a decent go. Struck by Steve Regal, Mr. Electricity. Tito Santana does the majority of the work in the match. Big body slam. The clean house is more reserved for Morales and Santana, a target for the Hart Foundation, who are months away from winning their first tag team championship. There's an inset promo there. Santana goes back to the headlock. Santana, of course, only months away from losing the Intercontinental Championship to Randy Savage in the Boston Garden. One of my favorite Savage matches, actually, is that Intercontinental title win. Anyway, and probably my favorite Santana match of all time is that, no, I also enjoyed his stuff with Greg Valentine, so I can't say favorite match of all time. One of my big regrets is that there was an independent show in 1999 or 2000. Santana and Greg Valentine were gonna headline, and I didn't get to go see that. I wish I had. Anyway, backbreaker with a win for Morales and Santana. Macho Man comments on his challengers. Obviously, does the paranoid promo. He doesn't care if it's Ricky Steamboat or Pedro Morales or whomever else. He's ready for whomever, wherever. Kamala against Kurt Kaufman. Again, Kamala coming back in here. He leaves sometime in '87, so his run here is pretty short. But the Wizard is his manager. Kemshi is his handler. and obviously that's the way that goes. The wizard again talks about the Grand Wizard and all of the advice he'd been given by that higher power. Kamala punch kick, chop chop, even hits a modified leapfrog and then gets a victory there. The Snake Pit with Butch Reed and Jake Roberts, they kind of do the same thing that they did before, only this time more focused on the feud with the Junkyard Dog. Basically, Jake Roberts admitting that he thinks the Junkyard Dog is a bit of a trashy individual and whatever have you. Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov up next against Mann and Kaniski. Sheik and Volkov managed by the Slickster, at least temporarily here. Sheik and Volkov both bringing their respective Russian and Iranian flags with them to the ring, so obviously getting heel heat. Couldn't do that today. Obviously, heel related stuff related to regions, countries, and religions doesn't get over in 2021. Thankfully, we've evolved as people to be at least less openly racist. I would argue that we're more racist as a culture in the United States than ever before, but it's more hidden than before. Anyway, go behind by, I believe, Kaniski, and he kind of hangs in there for a minute with the Iron Sheik. Sheik goes for an elbow drop that he does not execute on completely, and an Irish whip. Tackle by Kaniski. Kaniski pretty happy with himself. Sheik with a leapfrog. Never thought I'd hear myself say those words. And then a hip toss by Kaniski. Kaniski manages to, get spit on and all of that by the Sheik. Sheik manages to take the majority of the match. Clothesline by the Sheik, and again, he gets brought around all the way around. Tag off to the other enhancement talent. Volkov also comes in. Volkov manages to do pretty well, and the Sheik helps out with a knee to the spine of the enhancement talent. And again, belly-to-belly suplex by the Sheik when he tags back in. He manages to bring his man over, hit the camel clutch, and the win. To think that less than 3 years before this, the Sheik was the world champion for a month. It's just interesting, because you can already see by the end of '86, the Sheik having difficulty maneuvering around. Speaking of difficulty with maneuvering, Lou Albano and the British Bulldogs, is Albano the one I'm talking about here, against the Dream Team and Johnny V as members of that Dream Team being a big deal here. This is the final in-ring competition, at least for the WWF and probably anywhere else, I would imagine, for Lou Albano. Albano kind of hanging out on the apron. We see a couple of minutes. Matilda, the new manager slash mascot of the Bulldogs, post Captain Lou's final match here. Valentine and I believe Dynamite start the match, and kind of off to the ropes, and Dynamite with a tackle. Johnny V says he's going to eliminate Lou Albano once and for all. Big suplex by Dynamite on Valentine. And this bunch of matches, the Dream Team and the Bulldogs, certainly good matches. Body slams by the Hammer. Beefcake comes in. Beefcake, of course, not having the barber gimmick for another couple months yet. Backdrop by him. Kind of see he's going towards the tie-dye tights. Suplex by Beefcake, and he is all over the place, histrionic and frustrated that he can't get the victory. Certainly, I imagine, in kayfabe anyway, the Dream Team thinking if they can beat the Bulldogs, they can get a victory here. Obviously, you're going to send the fans home happy, and Captain Lou's team will win. But the heels take over for a bit here. One of the Bulldogs driven back into the wrong corner. And then we see a big power slam by Davey Boy right into his own corner. And that gives Captain Lou an opportunity to eventually come in and handle things. Big sleeper on Johnny V, and the Dream Team comes in. They're brawling around, double drop kicks by both Bulldogs, and Captain Lou finally is able to come in after the power slam combo on Johnny V, and Captain Lou gets the final victory. Superstars celebrate, dousing Captain Lou with champagne, among other things. He endorses Matilda and the Bulldogs one final time, and we ride off into the sunset. Final interview of the day, Orton and Morocco address Roddy Piper. They basically say they want him eliminated and that he's not a dependable friend. He turns on his friends and does whatever he wants when it's beneficial to him, but doesn't really care about what happens with anybody else. So that is the way that things end up going in that direction for the last little while, and we will move forward into the next of the Wrestling Challenge series. We'll be back with more right after this.